Yo, so I literally just wanted to talk about how the Nike Invincible one is my favorite running shoe ever made. First thing to note is that I have definitely not tried loads and loads and loads of running shoes. I've had like 5 or 6 pairs, 7 pairs in my life that I've kind of ran to death, and that's these included. As you can tell, they're quite beat up, so it's to the point now where like all the dirt on it is deeply ingrained in the shoe, and it's no longer dirt that you can just clean off. It's become part of the midsole, and I like to think that it adds to the foam. Uh, these are really great shoes. I think I first saw them in a Seth James Damore video, and I don't know whether he was reviewing them or he just got them in for review or something like that, and it was 2021 or whenever these came out, so it's definitely during COVID. I was running in Pegasus 37s or 38s at the time, which were just fine, but obviously pegs are quite stodgy daily runners that don't really have the bounce that something like this would have, and I'd never tried a shoe like this. I remember these were super expensive. They were £160 at the time, which for a daily trainer like angled shoe felt super expensive, and I was hesitant to put that money into the shoes. And now you're seeing the kind of equivalent. So I'd say that like a modern equivalent to these is the Super Blasts, and they're £200 flat. So it's definitely growing, that price, and I bought the Super Blasts, but it was off of the relationship that I'd had with these shoes and how I'd grown to love these shoes. But these shoes are a pair of shoes that when I first got them, after watching that Seth James Damore video, I didn't love them. I thought they were alright, but I had a couple of major problems with them, and I was feeling pretty burned, in all honesty, after my first like 2 or 3 runs. I was getting some serious hot spots with the shoes. I was just feeling a bit uncomfortable in the toe box. My feet aren't particularly wide, they're not particularly narrow. I do have high arches and I do run weird. So something about what my stride does was kind of working weird in the toe box. And I think I'd just sort of never been used to a stack like this as well, which obviously I've ran in bigger shoes now. I'd never ran in a plated shoe. I'd never ran in Zoom X, although I think there's a little bit of Zoom X in the Peg 38. I'd never ran in anything that was as squishy as this, or like a premium running shoe. And so it was a different experience, and the upper is really thick and turgid and durable, but at the sacrifice of heat. And unfortunately, I felt that at the start and hated them, really. Like after the first few runs, I was so gutted and I couldn't return them, and I just dumped so much money on them, and I just all I wanted to do was go back and run in my Pegasuses. And it was just kind of a weird situation that I one day picked them up after maybe a month of not running in them, and just was like, right, I'm gonna make myself love you. And I did. I had to sort of make myself fall in love with these shoes, which is a really strange thing to say, but at first that love was artificial, and then eventually, as I had tried a couple of different running shoes, these stayed in my rotation. And I tried carbon shoes for the first time. I tried other kinds of daily trainers, and I found myself like, oh, I fancy going on an easy run today. I'm gonna pick up the Invincibles. And then it kind of became this repeated pattern in which I was like, right, okay, I want to run in the Invincibles again. Right, okay. Well, I'm going on the trails today. I don't have any trail shoes. These are probably the grippiest. I'm going to run in the Invincibles. And so over the years, I've accumulated so many 5 and 10K workouts in these. Just regular, easy runs. Nothing that's like a difficult workout or repeats or anything like that, which I'll kind of get to when I talk about maybe any criticisms that I've got of the shoe. But yeah, that's the story of me and these shoes, really. Eventually, it got to the point where these became my go-to easy day shoe, and they still are after hundreds of kilometers, which is probably a good point to take me into my first sort of favorite part of the shoe, which is the durability, which is funny because I know that the durability on the Invincible 2 and 3 has been definitely the 3 has had loads of issues. I've seen pictures of like the sole coming off of the frame of the shoe, stuff with the heel clip and the midsole peeling off, the foam. So I don't know what's made these so durable. Maybe it's the way I run. Maybe I've not quite hit that like 600, 700 kilometer mark in these shoes, so it's not insane yet. But they've been amazing. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus, but look at the grip on the bottom. It's ridiculous. Like how is that still all intact? It's not burned off. It's amazing. And I felt that the foam as well has really grown over time. And so I was watching a video the other day, so I'll try and cite the video, but what the video was talking about the evolution of Nike Zoom X foam, and how actually between sort of 2018 and 2021-ish, which is probably when the shoe came out, that the Zoom X foam was really very, I don't know what the word is other than to describe it, like styrofoam, which is how I heard it describe it in the video. It was really sort of, it had that styrofoamy, squishy kind of feel, and then Zoom X kind of changed, the compound kind of changed, and it became more rubbery. Now I don't know which section this would go into, but to me this feels like a really styrofoamy kind of shoe. And the foam has felt so good over time. I've not really gotten to the point where I've started to feel it become dead at all. I've not felt as though the heel or the forefoot has sort of began to act any differently, even as wear has kind of accumulated in different areas. There is like the classic grooves and cuts that you will get in it in Zoom X because it's built in that kind of frail way. But the durability has been amazing, and the upper has also been super durable. And by proxy of it being a shoe that I don't like running in the heat because of the hot spots, it has actually become like a go-to winter shoe because you have so much padding around the heel collar and around the back. It's just so nice to run in the winter. I ran in the shoe in snow, and I've definitely run in the shoe in rain here in the UK. So yeah, it's just been really, really good durability wise. So next is probably how the shoe feels. So why is it my favourite shoe ever based on feel? This doesn't have a carbon plate. I've tried the Metaspeed Sky Paris. I've tried the Super Blast. I've tried the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 1, which are all like really, really like all-timer running shoes, I guess. If you'd ask a lot of people, they'd probably be in the top 10 running shoes of all time, all 3 of them. And I love all those shoes, particularly Mizuno, but there is something about how homely this shoe has felt for me. It just feels like a shoe that I can go back to. I don't have to think about running in the shoe in the nicest way possible. I just stick this on and leg it. And I do feel as though it's a super stable shoe for the stack. And so when I'm running in it, I just feel as though I'm like sinking in and I'm just bounding out. It's bouncy, and that's 100% the word I could use for it. It's like this soft, bouncy sensation when you're running in it. It's not snappy. For me personally, it doesn't feel like rockered. I don't feel as though I'm really springing away each time forward. I feel like I'm springing up and I'm kind of jumping in moon boots, and that's the closest sensation I can relate to this. It's super soft and it's super bouncy, but I've never felt as though I'm being dogged into the shoe, and sort of really like mushing, and it feels too soft, which I think is a really fine line. And so I love how this runs. Really, I love how comfortable it is when I'm running as well, because of the upper is so good, and I love how grippy it is on the bottom, and that's always been a really great feature for me. The versatility of this shoe. But I guess that kind of does wrap around a little bit to the negative. The only negative that I could take from this shoe over the years that I've run in it is that, especially recently, I've started running a lot to feel. So just how I'm feeling on the day, wake up, get my shoes on, get out the door, and I either can't be arsed or I'm really excited for it. And based on that, I'll sort of take it to that pace. And I'll know that once I'm out running. And this shoe, because of its versatility, has been a shoe that I've done that in. But on the days in which I really do feel like kicking it up in this shoe. When I'm running and I'm running to feel and I'm like, right, okay, I've got it in the tank. Should I do some repeats? Should I do a quicker kilometer or 2 or 3? There's been times where I've felt like this shoe can't handle it. There was a run recently in which I was really feeling like going a bit faster. And once I started to tune up to that really fast pace, and I was getting into like 4 minute kilometers, 3:30 kilometers, I just could feel it. I could feel the limitations of the shoe, and I could feel like I can run faster in a faster shoe. Um, and so it doesn't have that like perfect all-rounderness that maybe the Super Blast is more that kind of thing. It's got the cushion, but it also has got the spring. This is more leaning towards the cushion. You know, if it was a 5 marks chart, this would be 4 cushion, not 3 in the middle. And I also think they look great, particularly in this colorway. I don't love all the colorways. I don't really love how the more recent Invincibles have looked, but I think this is a really nice, simple shoe. I like the white, I like the black, I like the green. I like how 3 colours, not getting too complicated, no crazy designs. And I like that kind of deep tick that I don't think a lot of the more recent shoes have. So yeah, that's everything I love about this shoe. I'll stick some stats on the screen, I'm sure, at some point. But yeah, that's the entire thing. Cheers.